Welcome back, friends. Miss Paulson and I are here with our continued discussion of Giraffe Problems. Such a great book. Such a great book. Hopefully you have listened to it more than one time, because we can only do our reading lessons if you know the story. So if you have not yet done so, please take a minute to listen to it 1, 2, 3 times. Would be amazing, so that we can learn together.
Yes.
Our learning intention, our learning target today is we are going to talk about how the theme is reflected. And we're just gonna dive deep into the book on what is the theme of this book.
Right, and how do we figure out theme? Because it's I think, Miss Jackson, it's the hardest thing we do.
It is hard. It is very hard. Now, I know I was with a group of kiddos last year, and it really seemed to help if we broke it down into theme is the message for me.
Yes.
That's the one thing that really just sticks for me.
The message
theme
for me.
is the message for me. And I'll actually write that somewhere up here, how I did with all of you guys last year, and divide out the letters in the word theme. I will do that. So we have a great theme to learn in Giraffe Problems. And I know Mr. Mudd touched on this in his read aloud. He did an amazing job actually teaching about theme in his read aloud. So we're going to dive a little bit deeper into what is the theme of Giraffe Problems and how can you find the theme in any book you're reading.
That's right, because it's always going to be there. No matter the story, we know that in almost any story, our character changes. And he or she or it changes because they learn a lesson in the story. So this is why we've spent some time on character traits, because if we can identify who Edward was in the beginning of the story, he was a very different giraffe than he was at the end of the story because he learned a lesson. So if we think about Edward in the beginning of the story, I want you to think about how would we describe Edward as a giraffe? What kind of giraffe was he? And we can do that if we go back through the story. He tells us, because I can look at what he says, he tells us he feels bad about his neck.
Why do you think he felt bad about his neck?
I don't know. Do you think it was just a little, felt alone?
Because he was different?
He was different.
I don't know.
He's
just curious.
I know. So he's saying that he feels bad. He goes on and on and on to identify all these things that are wrong with his neck. Too dopey, too patterned, too stretchy, too bendy, too long.
Too necky.
Everybody stares at it. He feels like everybody. So that's something he feels. We talk about finding a character and thinking about what they say, what they do, what they feel. Well, he feels that everybody stares at him. So
but do we know that everyone is really staring at him, or does he just feel that way?
He just feels that way, right? I know.
Yeah.
Because he says, all these animals in the jungle are staring at him. But I don't really see that they are. But that's what Edward feels. And is he wrong to feel how he feels?
No, never.
No.
Never.
We're allowed to feel our feels.
True story.
Yeah.
Oh, this page.
Oh, he tries to hide it. He's so uncomfortable that where does he even get all those dots?
And he makes Miss Jackson very hot.
Right.
Very hot.
And he flat out says it, I have a problem. Yep, I feel bad about my neck. So right here in the story, we know exactly what Edward's problem is. And that's something you have to think about when you're thinking about theme. We have to know what the problem is to know how it was solved. So we're thinking he's not happy about his neck. That trait for him, that word is he's not very confident.
Oh, yes.
Right?
Yes.
He doesn't believe in himself. And he's kind of mopey.
And we don't know why.
Right.
But does it really matter that we don't know why?
It really doesn't matter.
It really doesn't matter.
He's just not comfortable in his own skin.
Mm-mm.
And so we don't want to say he's sad. Because sometimes we want to say when we're talking about characters, they want to tell us how they feel. They're sad, they're happy.
Emotions.
Yeah. And we don't want to use emotion words. So but we can tell that he is not very confident. He's not comfortable in his own skin. And we know this, he hides. He tries to hide. Did this solve his problem, hiding? No.
It was pretty funny though.
It was funny. I love looking here how the rocks in the background look like giraffes. So he's really trying to blend in hard there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, Edward. Ooh, and then we could even talk about the animals. He tries to make connections to people. It's like, oh, take a gander at the zebra's neck stripe. Always look good, so classic. Zebra's like, quit staring at me.
Dude.
Yeah.
Move on.
Stop talking about me, the elephant says.
He's grumpy.
Yeah. Think of that. Rude.
Having a hard time choosing joy.
Did they take the time to talk to Edward? No, they didn't really have enough time to talk to Edward. So we could even have words to describe any of the other characters. The lion. Are you always this loud?
And think about a lion saying that, because who's the loudest in the jungle?
That's true.
And he thinks
Edward is just a little too loud about his neck. I'm thinking they've heard Edward complain about this a lot.
I agree.
I'm thinking they're kind of done. Like, Edward, we know you don't like your neck. We can't help that. So, but Cyrus comes along. And Cyrus then does something different than the rest of the animals. He takes the time to listen. He takes the time to make a connection. Really, he takes the time to share all of his thoughts that he stood up and shared with Edward. So what does that tell us about the kind of person Cyrus is, or turtle that Cyrus is? And he maybe is a little more understanding. We could say that Cyrus is thoughtful.
Cyrus is thoughtful.
Very thoughtful. And here is what happens. Cyrus explains to Edward that, I don't like my neck either. I got my own neck problems.
You're not alone.
You're right. We're in this together. We hear that a lot lately. But their neck problems were shared. And sometimes we just need to hear that somebody else feels like we're feeling. And then that makes us feel a lot better. So we haven't quite won over Edward yet, but when we get here, after Cyrus's oh so important speech that he shares, it's so lengthy, so
and he's standing
many words. He is.
He's standing up to deliver.
It is
his State of the Union.
It is. It is very State of the Union like. It is.
But I love it.
But then look, I love this little picture. It doesn't have any words, but when you look at Cyrus's face here, he's happy. It's like his little heart is touched.
Why do you think the author didn't put any words on that page?
No.
Why do you guys think an author might choose a certain page? No words.
No words. Do you always have to have words? I think some of the most important lessons we learn are not by looking at the words. So when we finally get over here, there's the moment that we know that Edward's learned his lesson. Your neck is impressive. It allows you to do amazing things. For instance, you just solved my week-long banana dilemma in 10 seconds. He learns that, well, my problem is someone else's answer. And someone else may have a problem that I'm their answer. They need each other, Cyrus and Edward.
They do.
And so he learns that I may be different, but my difference can help someone else. And that's the lesson that Cyrus learns. But I can't, or that Edward learns, I'm sorry. But I can't take that and say it's the theme. Because when I talk about the theme, you have to take the characters out of it. But you have to learn,
and we have to go to the message for me. That's the only way that Miss Jackson can keep the theme in my head. And we talked about this a lot last year if we were together in class. The message for me.
I love that.
And that's for me.
That. It is.
It's for me.
It's for you.
It's not for Cyrus. It's not for Edward. It's not for Miss Paulson. It's the message for me.
So does that mean that my theme can be
It
different
might
than
be.
your theme.
I'm so glad you went there.
Oh my gosh.
It might be.
There's more than one right answer.
It's amazing, isn't it?
It is. I love it. I love it. And it is so true. There's
amazing.
more than one right answer, because the important part is if you can go back and use the evidence from the story to support it, then we can't argue it. So
Prove it, friends.
That's right.
Prove it.
So here, what do you think? It's all about, it's a big word. This story is really all about, we call it self-acceptance.
Do I have that on our? I'm adding it.
I think it
I'm
needs to
adding
go
it.
up there, Miss Jackson.
I'm
You're
adding
right.
it.
So self-acceptance is the big topic here. So what do we learn about self-acceptance? What's the lesson here? That my difference, the one thing that makes me different, might be the one thing that I can use to help someone else. Or we could say that the message, the theme is, how else could we say that?
When I think of giraffe problems, I think he's all along just been looking for what's wrong,
Yes.
not how he could be accepting of himself, his neck, and help others.
Oh.
If I could take a minute to just accept who I am, I think then who knows what else I could do.
This is true.
I mean,
Right.
it took him, he was looking, he wanted to taste a banana for a week.
Right.
And thankful for his neck, he just swooped right in,
That's right.
just like that. So, but that's just that's my take on it. The sooner that we can accept that we are who we are, then we can go out in the world and do amazing things.
That's right. Because Miss Jackson and I do this very well together. Something that I may not be very good at, she is great at. And we make each other look really good.
And I will say to Miss Paulson, okay, I really need you on this because this is not my strength. Or
Right.
and that's what makes a team work.
That's
But if we just sat here and focused on what we weren't good at,
Right.
it wouldn't be much
And
fun.
only complained about all the things we weren't good at.
It wouldn't be much fun.
We'd never get together and
No.
figure out that
No.
we can be good together.
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
you really just have to, the lesson, be happy with who you are.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And make the best of it.
That's right.
Be a friend.
Yes.
Be a helper.
See, we could talk about it forever.
We will. But,
So many things.
but we try to limit our...
We try. We try. But sometimes
We have a
we're better than
timer.
others.
We have a timer so that we don't keep talking. So
Right.
for now,
For now, that's it. So use what you've heard about theme today.
the message for
me. And you're going to apply that to a new story. And we're going to take a look and be able to come back and talk about it later. So keep working hard and until we read again.
Bye, friends.
Bye.